Literally everyone is talking about AI and creativity right now. Is it a threat? Is it just a new tool? Or could it be something much, much more? Today, we're going to dive deep into a whole new way of thinking about this, a new creative partnership that could totally transform how we design, well, everything.
It really all boils down to this one huge question. And you know what? For the longest time, this question had a really, really simple answer.
For decades, if you asked the experts, the answer was a hard no. Creativity? That was human. It required intuition, life experience, the ability to connect dots no one else saw. Machines? No way. They just followed instructions. But, well, we all know that's starting to change. Big time.
But here's the thing. To really get what's happening now, we have to flip the script. Let's forget about the machine for a second and start with us, with the human designer and the hidden struggles that are part of their process every single day. And this brings us right to what we can call the designer's dilemma. See, the creative process, it's not this smooth, magical thing we see in movies. It's actually kind of a struggle.
The reality is, our own brains put up these invisible walls, these cognitive barriers that actually limit our creative output.
So here's one you've probably felt. Have you ever had a pretty good idea right at the beginning of a project and then found it impossible to think of anything else? Yeah, that's a real thing. It's called design fixation. Our brains get anchored to those first couple of concepts, and it makes it incredibly hard to explore other paths that might even be way better. And then there's this, just plain old mental burnout. Coming up with lots of new, different ideas, what scientists call divergent thinking, takes a ton of energy. Your brain literally gets tired, just like a muscle, and your ability to be creative just plummets. So when you add it all up, you've got these three huge bottlenecks holding creativity back. First, there's the ideation bottleneck. That's the fixation and fatigue we just talked about. Then there's the whole black box problem. That amazing aha moment, it happens deep inside a designer's head, which means you can't really trace it or teach it, it's not repeatable. And finally, there's a process mismatch. We try to use these very linear, rigid computer programs for a creative process that's actually messy and all over the place. Okay, so this is where the story gets really interesting. What if we could build a new system that was specifically designed to smash through all those bottlenecks? That's where this idea of a new design partnership comes in. To get there, we have to make a really important distinction. We think of a designer as a problem solver, right? Someone whose job is to make something that works for a user, but at the same time, we demand they be a creative solver, which adds this huge pressure to also make it totally new and novel for the marketplace. Think about it. We're asking one person to do two fundamentally different jobs at the exact same time. So here's the radical idea. What if we split those roles? Let the designer be the expert problem solver, the one who focuses on empathy, understanding user needs, and making things work beautifully. And then, let the machine handle the endless, exhausting grind of generating novelty. This isn't just a small change, it's a massive paradigm shift in how we even think about our tools. For decades, we've had computer-aided design, or CAD, where the computer is basically a dumb, passive tool. It does what you tell it. But we're moving towards something new, designer assisting computers, or DAC. In this world, the computer is an active partner that proactively suggests ideas. We're going from a master and tool relationship to a true creative collaboration. And the philosophy behind this is so important. As this quote says, the goal here is not to replace human creativity, it's to augment and amplify it. It's about taking those mental burdens off the designer's shoulders. So, what does this actually look like? How do you build it? Well, it's all realized through this concept of an AI creative co-pilot, which is built on a framework called GEMINI. Now, the engine that drives this whole thing is a concept called creative machines. And no, we're not talking about sentient robots. These are intelligent, AI-powered systems that are just really, really good at generative tasks, things like brainstorming ideas or creating forms, that until now, only humans could do. So Gemini isn't just one app or one program. You have to think of it more like a whole ecosystem of these different creative machines, all working together to support the designer through the entire creative process. And that name, Gemini, it's actually an acronym that spells out what the framework does. It stands for the generation of ideas, the evaluation of those ideas, the management of all the concepts, and providing inspiration for ideation. See? It's a complete end-to-end system for creativity. So where does this all lead? What does the future actually look like for a designer in this new world?
Well, it points to a new and I think much more powerful role for the human creative. Far from being pushed aside or replaced, the designer's job actually gets elevated. It becomes more strategic, more meaningful, and way more focused on the stuff that only humans can do.
Think of it like this. The designer goes from being an actor who has to come up with every line and every idea from scratch to being a director. The AI is this amazing generative engine, spitting out thousands of possibilities. And the designer's real expertise is in curating, selecting, and directing the very best options, the ones that truly solve deep human problems.
So really, the big takeaway here isn't a scary story about replacement. It's a story of empowerment. It's about giving designers creative superpowers to break past their own cognitive limits and focus on what truly matters. And that kind of leaves us with one last really exciting question to think about. If we hand off the exhausting burden of just being new to our AI partners, what incredible undiscovered creative territories will the human mind finally be free to explore? What's next?